Hey kids, it's Mr. Flea here, hope you're well and welcome back to This Week in the Saddle, your motorcycle magazine programme, looking at all things that have been going on in the last week for me here at TMF Towers anyway. So thank you very much indeed to everybody that gave me such favourable feedback on the last TWITS episode. I got the message that you don't want me to scrap bike news, so I'll be doing bike news as well as TWITS. But anyway, it's been a very busy week since I last uploaded one of these. So in this episode, we've got all sorts of stuff coming up. We've got bits on the bike, we've got bits in the garage, and indeed, there is some sausage action. So stick around and stay tuned. Alright, so welcome back to the channel, folks. Without further ado, let's crack on with a bit of an update on the Goldwing situation, shall we?
Okay folks, welcome aboard the mighty Goldwing. I thought I'd give you a bit of an update on the Goldwing saga from the last TWITS. Do you remember I had that problems with it not starting? And eventually I did get it to start after I'd read the manual. And then I was scratching my head as to whether that was it or whether I needed to get a new battery. And a lot of people in the comments said, well, once the battery's gone properly flat, you probably have ruined the battery and you probably will need a new one. So I was kind of resigned to the fact that I probably did need a new battery, because I've done that before. You know, when a battery's gone properly flat, you then recharge it and then they're never quite the same again. So at some point you might as well just bite the bullet, get a new battery, because you don't want to let you down, you know, when you're out and about somewhere. I was lucky in a way that it let me down when it was in the garage and not when I was out on a trip somewhere. Anyway, so I phoned up my local Goldwing dealer, HGB, which is they're the people that look after my Goldwing. They're an excellent outfit. They do the servicing and so on, and said I need a new battery for the Goldwing because it's gone flat and I think it's therefore probably now toast. And to their eternal credit, the service guy, who didn't know who I was, I didn't even give my name, and he certainly didn't say, oh, I recognise your voice or anything like that, so I don't think he knew I was a YouTuber or anything. I didn't get any special treatment. He had a little chat with me about it and said, you know what, he said, I don't think if I were you I would put a new battery on it just yet. He said I would take it for a run over the next few days, just see how she goes. If it starts up, you know, and is lively when you start her up, then I think you're probably good, and just that reset with the throttle closing thing probably sorted it out. So I thought that was very kind of him. He said if you do have a problem, then obviously phone back and we'll put a new battery on for you. So that's what I'm doing. So I have started the bike probably another 3 times since that last TWITS, and each time it has started up on the button. You know, there's no sluggishness at all. It's been absolutely fine. So I thought I'd come out and give it a ride, because it's nice and dry today, as you can see. But as the eagle-eyed ones amongst you will notice, I've now got a check engine light on, look, which is worrying. So I'm assuming that's on there because some code has flipped from where it wouldn't start before. I don't know, I'm just guessing. Now sometimes those things reset themselves, don't they? When you go for a run, you stop the bike, you go the next time you go for a run, it's reset and it's fine. I don't know. So I'm only going to do a short run around the block really, because the bike feels absolutely fine, but I don't like running it when it has a check engine light on. So I'll go round the block, see how she is, and then I shall try starting her up again and have another little run and see if it clears that check engine light. If the check engine light doesn't go, then I will have to take it to the dealer to get that reset, and potentially get a new battery as well, maybe while I'm at it. I'll see how I'm feeling. Oh, it's going to be a long ride around the block if I'm stuck behind this. It's, let's face it, not a white van. It's a grey Transit, but we're doing 10 miles an hour on a 30-mile-an-hour road. Great. Alright, moment of truth. I've been around the block. I've still got my check engine light on. I'm going to pull over here, stop the bike, and then we're going to start her up again and see if that check engine light gets cleared. So let's just stick me hazards on so people know I'm not going anywhere. Turn her off. Right, I shall just bear with me. I shall count to 30 seconds just to make sure she's properly off. 1, 2, 29, 30. Alright, it's 30 seconds since I turned her off. Let's bring her back to life again. Everything's moving in the normal way. Let's start her up. Oh, we've got the stand up. Yep, stands up. Oh, she's in tour still. Look, that'll be why. Ugh. Go to neutral. Come on, neutral please. Let's do that again. Sometimes it gets his knickers in a twist if you do stop it in tour and don't go to neutral first. So I've done that now. There's not an obvious way to get it back into neutral. I've had this problem before. Let's see if that works. There you go. holding the neutral button down as I started, it seemed to work. The good news is, look, it seems to have gone out. Hazard lights can go off. There we go. Right, we select drive. Nothing behind me. Right, let's go for a little spin then. Enter on that. Right, okay, so far so good, excellent. So as I thought, it does seem to have cleared that code. I suspect that was just thrown up because of the battery issue. Good news! Well, that's absolutely fantastic. So I think the wing is all back in order again. I mean, I've stopped and started it many times now since that issue. I say many, at least 5 or 6, and plus on that trip I had the idle stop-start go off a few times as well, which I'd forgot to disable. That can't help the battery, can it? And despite all that, she's still absolutely fine. So I think we're good. I think I just need to keep her on that proper charger. Make sure I give her a spin every few weeks, which I try to anyway, through the winter months. I at least take her out for a spin every month, just to keep everything, all the fluids operating and everything good. And I think we should be okay. So thank you to the guys at HGB for not ripping me off and saying that I needed a new battery when I didn't. And thank you to everybody that commented on the last twits about my my little starting problem. I suspect what happened is I plugged the charger in but not properly. It wasn't fully home and it sat there for nearly a month with the tracker and the alarm slowly draining the battery. Anyway, that's what I hope happened. Alright, that's that then.
So, great news on the Goldwing as far as I'm concerned then, so that's all back to normal. I'm very happy about that, so good stuff. All right, shall we do some readers' rides then? Well, technically, I'm going to do one reader's ride this week because we are a bit short of time. I've got a lot to pack in. I don't want this to end up being an hour-long episode. But anyway, so yeah, one bike. So I must say thank you very much to Lorne Black in Canada. Now, I don't know, I'm afraid, Lorne, whether you're a male or female. I have to say that the name Lorne I've never come across before. This is Lorne. So I Googled it to try and work out whether you're a bloke or a lady. Turns out it's a gender-neutral name, and it means fox. Its origin is from Scotland. I don't know if you knew that. Anyway, so Lorne has this absolutely stunning VFR in white that he or she has sent in. He or she says, here's some photos of my 2009 Honda VFR 800 that I bought new in 2011. It's currently clocked about 92,000 kilometres. No idea what a kilometre is. We use miles here in the UK. Including 12 trips to California and 1 to Colorado. This is my 5th VFR. Obviously a fan then, Lorne, along with 3 VTR 1000F, though only one bike at a time. I have to say, I do love a VFR, me. They are beautiful bikes. My friend Richie Vida's got one and has had one for absolutely ages. I rode that a while back. Beautiful sounding engine on the VFR. Lovely, lovely bike. Also, my mate Wheelie Good Dave has got one as well, though he's threatening to sell his. Don't know why, he's only had it 5 minutes. Anyway, it's a lovely bike. Actually, Dave, maybe I haven't got room. Anyway, back to Lorne's bike. Says here, my first mod was to swap to an 8-spoke rear wheel as originally fitted to the 1990 to 1993 VFR 750, then a Leo Vince exhaust set up the first year and the Honda panniers the next spring. There wasn't a set of white bags to be found in North America, but I was fortunate enough to get a set from Bournemouth Honda in England, good old Blighty, excellent, in 2016, and I installed an LSL handlebar kit. So yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic. 3 pictures here. So the first one here says Pacific Coast Highway. Lovely. I've ridden that a few times myself, down from San Francisco down towards Carmel and beyond. In fact, there's a TMF sticker on one of the bridges along there, the famous bridge on the Pacific Coast Highway. If you happen to be heading down that way, stuck it there about 8 years ago. See if it's still there. Anyway, back to the bike. So yeah, it looks absolutely beautiful in the white, doesn't it? This one was in Victoria, British Columbia. What a stunning looking motorcycle that is, and I love that rear wheel that's been put on there. And then this last picture here says here near Mount Shasta, which I think is possibly California as well, but that looks absolutely stunning. What an amazing photograph. Really love that. Thank you, Lorne, for sending it in. Sorry, I don't know if you're a man or a lady, but really beautiful pictures there. And thank you to everybody else that have sent in pictures for Reader's Rides. I will get to those in future twits, but as I say, bit push for time this week. All right, moving on then. Right, next up, let's pop back into the garage, or garage if you're North American. Right, do you remember on the last episode of Twits, I was extolling the virtues of this stuff, XCP Cleaner and Degreaser. Not an advert, not sponsored or anything like this, but I said that I'd use this to clean Mrs. Flyer's gold wheels, and when I next wanted to do my Kawasaki's wheels, I would use it to do mine. Well, somebody said in the comments, you don't need to go to the expense of buying that stuff. You can just use good old WD-40 to clean the grease off, and I think I kind of knew that anyway, but so I thought, actually, yeah, maybe I'll give that a try and see if that's as easy. And then getting this out of the cupboard revealed I already had this from Oxford. This is their mint bike degreaser. Again, they sent this to me some time ago. I've never used it. It smells lovely. So I thought I'd give that a try as well. So let me show you the state of the back wheel on my beautiful Kawasaki. I'll walk around this way because with the lights on it, I can't help but notice how she gleams. Doesn't she look beautiful? What a lovely machine. So on this side of the wheel, no big deal. It's all okay-ish, although I probably will give it a clean. But on the side where the chain is, of course, you get all the fling. And then that means, look, if you look close, it's a right old mess down here. I don't know if you can see that very well with the camera. It's not that well lit around here. But anyway, I'm going to give the WD-40 etc. a quick go with an old rag on there and see if it brings it up as well as everybody seems to think. Let's give it a quick go. Right, let's try the WD-40 first then. So we'll go with this bottom bit. Quick spray. I've got too much in here. There's a bit. Right, and then I've got an old microfiber that I don't care about. And yes indeed, look at that. Fetches it straight off, no problem at all. Just as good as the XCP degreaser, no problem at all. Yeah, so yeah, thumbs up for that, that works all right. Let me now just move the bike forward a little bit to reveal a bit more dirt, and we'll try the Oxford version, see how that works. All right, so I had to move the bike back, but I have now got another dirty bit of wheel. Check this out. Can you see that? Let's give that a try with the Oxford stuff. The upside with this, number one, I've got loads of it. And number two, it does smell delightfully of mint, as per the name. And yeah, that fetches it off just as well as the WD did. So there you go, with sport for choice, any of those sort of degreasers, the XCP one, WD-40, or the Oxford one, brings them up absolutely beautiful. All right, I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes giving the wheels a clean, and then I'll take it for a little spin.
Okay folks, so it's time for another little ride out on this TWITS. And now, as you've probably gathered, I'm on my Kawasaki Z900 RS, my current sort of go-to fun bike. It's the newest of my bikes, I only bought it, what, 18 months ago, something like that. And to start with, I was a little unsure about the bike as to whether I was going to gel with it. I'd ridden them before, ever since they came out, but and I'd always loved them, and then I bought one, and then I sort of got a bit bored with it quite quickly. Didn't really understand it, and then I changed the exhaust headers. And it just turned it into a beast. It gave the bike a bit more character, and ever since then I've been absolutely loving it, and I think it's my current favourite bike that I own, certainly for just fun riding. Now, it's a lovely dry day again today, but very busy on the roads as you can see, but I haven't been out on this bike probably for, I don't know, 3 weeks, so I thought I really need to come out and give her a run, just get her properly warm. Make sure she's in good working order. It's no good having bikes sat around in the garage, is it, and not ridden. Doesn't do them any good. Now the microphone I have on my Osmo Action 4 camera is not very sensitive at picking up engine noises on bikes. Hopefully in the background you can hear a little bit of the noise that this awesome 4-cylinder machine makes. It just sounds great. Going quite slowly, so let's get by a bit of traffic. What a fabulous bike. It looks and goes splendidly. I really love this thing. I've got to get out and do some touring on it. I got those panniers last year for it. I haven't actually used them yet in anger. Our plan, me and Mrs. Fly, is to go and do a little tour video on this bike, her on her Kawasaki, me on this, and do really Mrs. Fly's first tour. She's never been on tour on her bike, and it's sort of, you know, gently does it. We start off with something relatively easy, and we'll gradually build up from there. So our plan is to do something like go to the Cotswolds for a night or something. There's some nice riding around there, and some lovely hotels we can go and stay in for a nice night away from the kids. I say kids, my daughter's 24 years old, so hardly children. But anyway, yeah, we'll go away on our Kawasaki's. We'll probably make a little tour video of that, put it out at some point, and just sort of wet Mrs. Fly's whistle, as it were, for touring on her own bike. That would be great, and it'd be a real treat for me as well to go on tour on something other than a big bike with somebody on the back of it, namely Mrs. Fly. And I fancy doing that on this one. Blimey, I've definitely come out at the wrong time of day, haven't I? Now, I mentioned I was going to give the wheels a clean on the Kawasaki. Let me just stop up here and show you how they came out. I can stop here, can't I? Yeah, no problem. Check this out. Right, I don't want to get killed as I do it, but this is the chain side. Look, absolutely gleaming. Looks really superb. Really pleased with that. If I come over here, look at that, even in the dull light today. Look at those wheels. They look absolutely amazing, don't they? I think this is a really lovely looking bike, so dead chuffed how they've come up. That's the answer from now on. Look at that. Marvellous. Right, before I get any more funny looks from passing school children, let's get out of here. Let's not get carried away. It's actually a 20-mile-an-hour limit down here, which is annoying. Tell you what, the fueling on this is great. Look, I'm in second doing 10 miles an hour. And it's not jerky or juddery. Absolute winner. Thank you. Oh, I can see a tantalising 30 up there, look. And we're free. Well, only to there. Oh well, never mind. So the old Quack seems to be running beautifully. Heated grips are warming me up. The engine's at proper operating temperature, so that's my good deed on this bike done for the day. Although I'll probably stay out a bit longer and just hit some back lanes and just enjoy the bike a little bit. So anyway, that's the Quack. Good working order. Need to get her out on a bit of a tour. And yeah, if you've got any other ideas of where we go for somewhere that would be good as a sort of one-nighter, it's not too far for Mrs. Flyer on her first venture out, let me know in the comments below. Right, onwards.
Okay, we'll be back out on the bikes again later, but now it's time for...
Bike briefing.
Okay, let's take a look then at a couple of the bikes, well, three of the bikes, well, three manufacturers of bikes that released bikes last week at the EICMA show in Milan. There's all sorts of news coming out all throughout the week, wasn't there? But three that piqued my interest. First off, this one, the Flying Flea from Royal Enfield. This is a bike we've mentioned before on the channel. Got myself a press release on this. So a couple more details coming up on this bike that I think looks absolutely amazing. I'm not a big fan of EVs generally. Well, EV cars, maybe small ones, okay, but motorcycles, not really for me. But the Flying Flea has piqued my interest. It says here, Royal Enfield proudly enters the EV space by announcing the launch of its completely new electric vehicle brand, Flying Flea. Now, that's the first thing I hadn't realised, that this is a brand. It's not just one bike. They're going to have a Flying Flea electric vehicle brand, which is different. Anyway, it says here, this new brand of electric vehicles builds a unique and exciting range of urban and city motorcycles. The new Flying Flea brand takes inspiration from the original Royal Enfield Flying Flea motorcycle of the 1940s, a landmark in automotive engineering and design. Though it was purpose-built for use during World War II, when these amazing machines were airdropped via parachute to provide lightweight, easy-to-use, all-terrain mobility, it was later embraced by civilians too for city exploration purposes. This lightness, agility and adaptability returns with the Flying Flea brand and its upcoming range of electric vehicles. So that all sounds good, doesn't it? Right, just looking through the press release, it says here the first model under Flying Flea to hit the road next year will be the FFC6. Says here it has authentic retro futuristic style. I do love how these marketing types come up with this. The authentic and unmistakable design is highlighted by the first of its kind contemporary reimagining the original Flying Flea front suspension, featuring a forged aluminium girder fork and articulating mudguard. We don't see that very often, do you? An articulating mudguard, or indeed girder forks. It results apparently in a unique riding experience only available on the FFC6. The magnesium battery case utilises organic design language for optimal weight saving and cooling. To leverage the full capabilities of the FFC6, we have developed a central vehicle control unit, it says here. This VCU enables over 200,000 different ride mode combinations, constantly monitors your bike when you're away to alert you if it's disturbed or moved, and is always up to date with over-the-air updates and feature additions. So it looks like this thing is going to be absolutely laden with technology. I mean, electric bikes, I suppose it goes that we should have technology on those, and it's doing over-the-air updates and all sorts of things. It sounds amazing.
It says here, an intoxicating mix of pace and fun. I like this. This implies it's going to be fast, with lean angles sensing ABS alongside efficient and capable highway cruising with cruise control, easy and fast charging, something that's very important on electric bikes, via a domestic 3-pin plug, coupled with ample range to explore your city. Easy handling paired with lightweight components result in an infinitely usable, uncomplicated and encouraging ride regardless of your ability. Now, if this is all correct, if it is lightweight, it does have a great range, it does charge up quickly, and it is fast, and it's good value for money, we don't know what the price is going to be, then that all adds up to a good electric vehicle, doesn't it? So we shall see how that one develops. But so yeah, that's the first thing. Flying Free from Royal Enfield piqued my interest. Right, next up, Ducati at EICMA. So it says here, the new Panigale V2, which is a bike that, again, I'm very interesting because I used to have an 899. It says here, it's the lightest Panigale ever and marks a new historic chapter in the history of Ducati's mid-size sports bikes, while the Street Fighter V2 2025 transfers its concepts to a naked version thanks to the fight formula. Weird, I don't know what the fight formula is, but the pictures look absolutely stunning of these bikes, don't they? With that new V2 engine as well, nice and light. These are both going to be crackers, I think. The other one that was of interest to me, because it's an adventure bike and I love adventure bikes, the Multistrada V4 Pikes Peak, which with its Olin Smart EC suspension, 17-inch rims, is designed to be the sportiest multi-stradisti. Like it. So yeah, that looks absolutely cracking as well, doesn't it? And then the last one from Ducati says here that in the Ducati Scrambler space, the public can see for the first time live the new Icon Dark full throttle and above all the Scrambler 10th anniversary Rizoma edition, a collector's bike made of course in collaboration with Rizoma, enhanced by splendid details in metal rose and produced in 500 numbered examples. I do like the look of this latest Scrambler and I'm looking forward to having a go on that one. All right, so that was it from Ducati. Next up, the one that was of interest to me was Suzuki. I actually got a 38-page press release on the new DRZ 4s, so I won't bore you with all of that, but I've just got some highlights from the first page here, the introduction. So these are the DRZ 4s. So it says here, first launched in 2000. I'm saying DRZ because they're mostly Americans that ride these, because as you'll see in a minute, they were discontinued in the UK. But anyway, I'll carry on. The DRZ 400S laid the foundation for the dual sports category of today. Suzuki's let's go with Z, we're in the UK. Suzuki's DRZ 400 range keen to answer consumer demands, Suzuki has launched all new DRZ 4S and DRZ 4SM models for the 2025 model year. The two new models satisfy Euro 5B regulations thanks to a new engine, plus a new suite of electronics and a brand new chassis. The S is available in Suzuki's signature off-road yellow, which I think looks really cool, as well as a classy dark grey, while the SM utilises a new blue and grey dubbed Sky Grey and a striking white with blue wheels. These bikes look really good, and I think these are going to do really well. They're kind of they're in the same sort of vein as the old CRF 250L that I had, or now the Honda CRF 300L, which has had this market all pretty much to itself, hasn't it, here in Europe since these were discontinued. So I think Suzuki have played a blinder bringing these in. Right, talking of motorbikes, I know you're waiting for a bit of sausage action. Check out this little vid that we recorded yesterday.
Well, welcome to a rather foggy and miserable Remembrance Sunday morning, folks. And you join me on the mighty GS with Mrs. Flyer on the back. And we're off into London this morning. It's going to be our first ever visit to the bike shed. I can't believe we've never been before. It's only been open, I don't know, 10 years, maybe more. Crazy, but we've never been. Anyway, we've been meaning to go for absolutely ages. It probably would have been something better to do in the summer, but time kind of ran away with us. We'll definitely come back in the summer if it's any good, because Mrs. Flyer's keen to ride in on her bike. That's what we were going to do actually this morning, but had a bit of an issue with our phones pairing up with our comms, so we abandoned that idea and jumped on the GS. Anyway, you find us in the environs of Watford. It's about a 50-minute ride from here, only 19 miles to the bike shed. So yeah, have a chat to you when we get a bit closer. Surprisingly, this is only the second time I will have ridden into central London on a motorcycle, and the first time was when I was on my street triple and I got stopped by the police out at the Mall. I haven't been here since. Ridiculous, on a motorbike that is. I don't know why that is, because actually coming here on a motorbike is a pretty convenient way of getting into London. I'm assuming, and I may be wrong, that motorbikes are ULEZ exempt and I don't think there's congestion charging on a weekend, but I haven't actually checked, so I hope I'm right on that. Anyway, according to the splendid Apple CarPlay, I've only got 7 miles to go to the bike shed, but it's going to take me 35 minutes, would you believe? That's London for you. Right, speak to you when we get there, I guess. I need to concentrate on routing. So we're not quite at the bike shed yet. We've got another 3.7 miles to go according to the sat-nav. It's going to take another 21 minutes though, which is hilarious. This is just coming up to Highbury Corner. This is a part of London I don't know at all well. We've come in via a strange route because our normal direct route in actually is closed today, which would be quite a straightforward route straight in from the west where we live, but we've had to sort of come up north and down the M1, and it's all very complicated. But seen some bits of London I've never seen before. Came through Highgate, I don't think I've ever been there before. Dead centre of London, the famous cemetery there, of course. Anyway, not long now. We got a foggy view, by the way, of central London earlier. We could see the Shard and St Paul's Cathedral ahead, but it wasn't very spectacular because it's in the Clag. But that's London this time of year, I guess. Anyway, should soon be at the bike shed. Looking forward to getting there and getting a brew. Actually, I could do with a coffee. Alrighty, well, since we're getting quite close now, it's very frustrating here because it's all 20-mile-an-hour limits, so I can't go any faster than this. Cyclists are going faster than us, and also they're all ignoring the red lights. So you watch these two bikes here, for example. Look, we've got a red light. Let's see if they're going to obey. We'll just come down here so we can see it, and there they go. Look, straight across. Oh no, they're going to stop on that one. They didn't bother on the last one, those two. They just kept going. Does annoy. Anyway, never mind. Rant over. Oh, there they go. They are going on the red. Excellent. Traffic lights, as well as speed limits, don't apply to cyclists, it seems, in London. Please don't get me wrong. I haven't got anything against cyclists. I'm a cyclist myself too, but when I'm on one, I do abide by road traffic regulations. Alright folks, this is Shoreditch. Used to be a pretty hideous place, now very trendy. Many years ago I used to work up here, just off of Old Street. Goodness me, that was 30 years ago. It was slightly different then, I can assure you. Our favourite pub was the Lord Nelson. If anyone was here then, you'd know why it was our favourite pub. Anyway, I'll move swiftly on. Right, where's this bike shed then? We've arrived at the bike shed on the most un-bike sheddy vehicle you can, turning up on a GS. What are we like, eh? Aha, this looks familiar. It's just here. My word, look at that queue of bikes trying to get in. Are they trying to get in? Yes. And there's our friends. See, those are cool bikes to come on. Hello! How you doing? What's the delay, do you know?
Apparently there's some Instagrammer here.
Right.
They told everyone to meet here at 11 o'clock.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No.
Flipping social media people, eh?
But there's a big,
What a nightmare.
big group about to leave.
Right.
So he said he'll let us all in.
Okay, great stuff. Hopefully we'll get in a minute because it's a minute past our booking time. And they're quite sharp on the slots here. This is not the time to drop your bike. Well, this is fun. First time I've ever ridden into a restaurant, literally ridden in. Cool. And it's busy on a Sunday morning. Apparently we're going to double park and we just leave the bikes with the steering locks off, so if they need to be moved they can be. Right, this looks like it'll get complicated. I'll speak to you once we get settled in at our table. Hey! Right, so we found our table in the bike shed and we met our old friends John and Kim, or Kim, John and
Carol, see what I did there? North Korean viewers. Anyway, how was your journey in, folks? Was it good?
It was a bit chilly.
Yeah?
It was a bit chilly, but it was actually quite nice. We come the scenic route.
No heated seat on your fancy GS?
No,
Should have got a 2012.
I didn't tick that box.
So, Carol, how did you find the GS instead of the Goldwing?
Goldwing's more comfortable.
Yep. Just as well, it was 3 times as expensive. Right, we bought. Oh,
You let me finish.
sorry, I do apologise, my angel. Finish.
But it was fine. It was nice to be back in the GS.
Was that it? I stopped for that. You to say it's good. Anyway, it's a bit noisy in here, so we're going to enjoy our breakfast, and we'll speak to you in a minute. So breakfast has arrived, and I have to say, it looks very good. Although I'm a little bit sceptical about black pudding. You a black pudding fan?
Wow, that's a big breakfast.
It was good, isn't it, John?
It does look good.
Check that out.
Is that beans with?
It looks a bit refried beansy. I'm not sure about that, but
does.
anyway, we'll see.
Cowboy beans.
Go on, go for it. Not sure about the homemade beans. See what Mrs. Fly makes of it.
Is that like cowboy beans?
And
No, okay. Thank you.
get you. That's all good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers.
Oh, that's chili. I need to put chili sauce on the breakfast.
Right. I think it's a case of bon appetit. Well, you can't come to the bike shed and not have a little look around, can you? So I thought I'd have a little bit of a look around, see what bikes are knocking about here. I'm sure I've seen this one before at the bike shed show. A Royal Enfield Interceptor. And over here, I'm not sure, this is a Honda of some sort. There's a barber there, sadly not something that I've needed much use of late. Well, about 40 years actually.
Right, thank you, bike shed. Cheers.
Tell you what, mate, you want to put a few more lights?
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't be a GS without those, would it? Cheers. Well, amazing job they're doing getting the bikes in there. We timed that just right. 3 bikes after us, and then they said no more bikes. Anyway, get out of here. Right. Thank you, Shoreditch. Thank you, the bike shed. Great fun. Nice food. Quite expensive. Frappe, I think, was 17 quid, but lucky for me, John on the bike in front of me paid for it, so thank you, John, for your generosity. Right, next stop, we thought we'd head off out to the Ace Cafe for a little bit of a look at that. That's sort of on the way home for us, and it'll be an interesting contrast to the bike shed. Well, amazing building ahead. It just screws with your eyes. I can't quite work out how that's working. It's like an optical illusion. Gotta love the architecture in London. Fantastic. That is so weird, it just scrambles with your brain. I don't know if it's coming up on the camera like that, but certainly looked odd at that angle on the bike. Talking of cool buildings, and if I'm going to do this, we're going to be here all day looking at buildings, but look at that one, that skyscraper on the right ahead. It's got a lovely garden stroke bar thing on the top by the looks of it. Just incredible. Well, in fact, balconies and all sorts. It's just amazing. That's going to be an expensive one if you want a suite in there. How nice to be able to ride in a bus lane. Doesn't apply all over London, of course. Certain boroughs you can't, so you've got to keep your eye on the signs, but here you can. There's that building. Right, I better concentrate on the riding. Just had to turn the camera on here while we're talking about architecture. That's King's Cross Station on our right. Absolutely amazing building. And while we're doing famous stations of London, just coming up on our right is Euston Station. If you're a Monopoly fan, you'd absolutely love it round here. And just while we stopped here at the lights, time to admire Regent's Park. This is Royal Jordanian territory. Wonder if he's out. And if we're going to do the tourist thing, Madame Tussauds on our right there. Famous Waxworks Museum. indeed museum is the right word. Baker Street on our right, home of Sherlock Holmes, if he was a real character. Alrighty, we're out of a lot of the interesting stuff now. This is the Marylebone flyover, I think, and just check out how gloomy this weather is. This is November in Blighty, folks. Don't come on holiday in London then. Right, according to the map, 18 minutes, only 6 miles to the Ace Cafe. Well, after a rather damp ride, we make it to the Ace Cafe. Let's go and get a cup of tea and a bit of a warm-up. See how it compares to the bike shed. Here we are. Possibly the most famous bike cafe in the world. Gotta be, isn't it? Right, folks, so we've made it to the Ace Cafe. What did you make to that ride through, Carol?
It's great to see London, a bit busy.
Great way to see it, actually, isn't it? And a murky old day, but here we are, the Ace Cafe, your first visit.
I know, I've never been.
So time for a cup of tea, I think.
Yep.
To be completely fair, it's only my second visit. Right, let's see how this looks. Oh yes, this is more us, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's actually Remembrance Day today, hence the poppy display. So here we are, the Ace Cafe. Cool.
Yeah.
Cup of splonge.
A40 in it.
Cheers, Kim.
Cheers.
Well ridden on the back there.
Yeah.
Cheers, all.
It's great.
Tea.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Strong tea.
So that was great fun yesterday, riding into London and checking out the bike shed for the first time and revisiting the Ace Cafe. Such a historic place and definitely worth a visit if you're in the area, but preferably on a slightly warmer day. Anyway, a couple of you pointed out after last TWITS that I never showed you that mod I did on my helmet to stop the low sun getting in my eyes. It's nothing particularly clever, but I did promise some people that I'd show you this time. All it is, in my Schubert helmet, look, it's got one of those pull-down visor things. If I flip it down, there we go. And can you see there, what I've done is basically I've stuck on some, basically it's black electrical tape just on the bottom part of the visor. And then what I do, if I've got the low sun, as you sometimes get in autumn, if you're lucky enough to have a sunny day, we haven't had one of those for a little while, but we might be getting one tomorrow. And if you basically can position this exactly where you need it, it needs to only be like down sort of just wherever you need it, just to stop the sun getting in your eyes, and that has worked out really well. I've done it on both my Schuberths, so recommend that to the house if you have the same problem with the sun blinding you and you don't have a peak on your helmet.
Okay, folks, so there we go. That's TWITS for another episode. Hope you enjoyed that. Do keep your comments and feedback coming below as ever. If you've got a bike that you want me to include in Reader's Rise, then don't forget, send me some pictures and some paragraphs about the bike to themissingtonflyer@gmail.com. If you put Reader's Rise in the subject, that helps me to pick it out better. That would be fantastic. And yeah, look forward to speaking to you again soon. The next TWITS may not be every week, even though it's called This Week in the Saddle. I can't commit to doing this sort of thing every week. It might be 2 weeks in the saddle. It might be 3 weeks. I don't know. It'll happen every now and again when I've got something worth saying. All right, I'll speak to you next time.